Welcome back. Welcome back. So, got a video not quite like Name That Buster, but we're gonna have a similar screen on that just to kind of cover something because I want to make some comparisons that might be comps that actually do make sense to some people to give a little bit more context on the narrative of things that are going on out there about said person. And I don't want to reveal this person till the end, so I'm quite aware that not everybody may click this video given I didn't reveal much about what it is. But I just want to kind of bring to light something I was sitting and I was thinking about as I was watching testing, practice, and qualifying for this past week's race. And it just hit me kind of like there's a correlation there. Something makes sense. So let's get into this. If it's your first time to the channel, welcome. Thank you for joining. Subscribe, like, comment. If you dislike, tell me why you don't like it. But we're going to start in this order because I think this makes sense. All right. So this first person up, not going to reveal them until after I read off the stats and then we'll talk about that person. First person up is 44 years old. Pretty much in the sport that they compete in, they're on one side. They don't compete like throughout the entire competition. They're on one side of the competition. Positionally, they are protected. Average time in competition is anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes. Years within their league is 20 plus years this season, including, and 16 competitions per their season. Given right now, you have an added one, but making it 17. Who is this person? Well, this person is none other than the GOAT of football quarterback, Tom Brady. And when I say the GOAT, the best quarterback by far. As far as the best athlete and football player, I can't give him that, but definitely still the GOAT, Tom Brady, okay? Tom Brady, 44, just recently said he was going to retire. He was retiring, comes back. I think that was a big controversy or maybe some debate between him and Bruce Arians. He really wasn't liking the coaching style of Bruce Arians. So now we have Todd Bowles, which is another minority, a black coach that's been given the opportunity. I will say opportunity still kind of in the shadow of doubtfulness because Tom Brady's on the tail of his career right now, right? Tom Brady's on the tail of his career. He's not going to last more than 2 other seasons. We've seen a decline in his play, in his ability. Now, stick with me because it's going to get something that will be related to what you all are accustomed to seeing, so don't leave just yet. But he's on the tail end of his competitive. He has had a decline in some of his play. Not very great and active out of the pocket. On the tail end of his career, although successful career, he's still going to be on his way out. All right. So let's go to this next athlete. All of these people are athletes in some form, fashion, or are niche within a sporting event. All of them are athletes. This next person is 40, and I'm going from oldest to youngest. Is 40 years of age, consistently in play within their competition, regardless. All right. So unlike Tom Brady, only plays on the offensive side of the ball, doesn't do special teams, doesn't do defense, none of that. He's pretty preserved, right? That's why he could be this old, 44 years old, and still be playing a high elite game because it's not really in play that much. But this person is in play constantly. No external contact, just like Tom Brady, kind of protected, but this person doesn't even have an opportunity to have external contact or forces on their body because of the sport that they play. Average time in competition is 90 minutes. All right. Average time competition is 90 minutes. Years in their sport is 20 plus years as well. Average competitions in their season, about 20 plus, depending on other tournaments that they might enter. Who is this person? Well, none other than the GOAT of tennis, Serena Williams. The GOAT of tennis. That's pretty much not debatable. The best player, not female, the best player in the history of tennis, Serena Williams. Okay, 40 years old, on the tail end of her career as well. She probably will not be participating in tennis. I mean, but she can a little bit. But why? Because there's really no external forces being applied on her body. Nobody's trying to tackle her, unlike Tom Brady, but still protected by several other players. But nobody's trying to tackle her. Nobody is going to tackle her. There's not much like forces outside of that she's not applying to her own muscular system. That's it. So she can last a bit longer in her sport, given the attributes or what's going on around her, okay? Given the elements that's going on around her. 40 years old, but still on the tail end. She's probably going to be retiring very soon. All right. You still have to be competitive. She still got to move acutely, very sharply. Okay. She still got to track that ball. Hand-eye coordination still is going to decline. Nothing gets really better over time after you reach your prime. So she has a decline in play, and that's been proven with her ability to compete at higher levels and seeing, she's been beaten in situations that we're not accustomed to seeing her being beaten. All right. So Serena Williams, big salute out to her. Like I said, the GOAT, 40 years old. We're going to move on to a younger athlete. Still, all right, this athlete constantly competes. Well, is 37 years of age. 37 years of age, this athlete is. Constantly competing on everything within their sport. Okay, so unlike Tom Brady, one side of the ball, but like Serena, constantly in play, one side of the net, but always in play. This person is in play on everything within their competitive sport. Moderately physical contact. Average time in competition is about 40 minutes, give or take, maybe extending circumstances. Years in their league, 19, about to go on 20, so if they don't retire as of yet. Average competitions per season is 80 plus competitions, okay? 80 plus. Nobody thus far yet has reached 80 plus competitions within their season. Who is this person? Who is it? None other than the king, the GOAT, LeBron James in the National Basketball Association. LeBron James, okay? So far we got football, we have tennis, and we have now basketball. LeBron James, because he has some physical contact within that game, although the game of basketball is not like it used to be back in the 80s and even 90s, maybe even the early 2000s, it's become a little bit more protected, softer sport. You got a lot of flopping going on, but still there is contact within that paint. They're still using their bodies against each other in certain circumstances if they don't get a foul, a penalty. But the jumping up and down, the dunking, the shooting, the multiple competitions within a week, sometimes, not even days apart from each other. 80 competitions per season. Over 19 years in this sport doing this at an elite level. LeBron James, can it not be said that he is also at the tail end of his career? I think so. He is still the oldest player to be playing at an elite level. But if you compare 20-year-old LeBron James to 37-year-old LeBron James, you're going to see some vast differences there. But still, competing at an elite level. Better than Jordan was when he was with the Wizards. A lot of people don't want to bring that up. That's not ceremonial. LeBron James is better than Jordan was when he was with the Wizards. LeBron James is competing a lot longer than any other basketball player in history and playing at the elite level. With doing so. Don't be fooled, okay? But still, LeBron James is looking to exit the sport at some point in time. He's more of a facilitator now than he is. Can he be that number one de facto at this point in time? It's been proven the Lakers are out of the playoffs. You could say due to injury. But there's a time where LeBron James was playing at a level in his prime where he could carry a team even with the talents of the Lakers, all right? He can't do that right now because he's on a decline. He's on his way out, although they're great. So the next athlete, 37 years of age, slightly younger, a year kind of younger than LeBron James. I think LeBron 84, this person 85, still 37, give it some months. Constantly in play during their competition. Plays and has a high level of forces and applied physical situations to their body through their competition. Average time in competition is 90 minutes, give or take. Years in the league so far, 15 years going and still going. 20 plus competitions per season, depending on contracts. Who is this person? None other than the GOAT, Sir Lewis Hamilton. With that being said, I think there's an extreme comparison between LeBron James and Lewis Hamilton. I think there is an extreme comparison between those two individuals. Both 37 years of age, give or take their months when one turns, older than the other. LeBron having more competitions in his season, has more years in his sport in the elite level, but does not have the physical pull, physical demand, physical challenges that Lewis Hamilton has in a car traveling 200 some odd miles an hour. G-forces pulling on your body while you're trying to counter-react and steer. The reflexes that are needed to approach these corners in and out and judge with cars around you. by far the most physical forces applied on his body, by far the most treacherous and definitely challenging environment within the game compared to basketball, compared to motorsports racing. Okay. Is Hamilton on the tail end of his career? I would debate and say it's possible. Yeah. But he's still performing at an elite level. We just saw Melbourne, fourth. We saw back in what? What was that? Bahrain makes podium, third. We saw in Jeddah, still competitive with a subpar car, porpoising. They haven't got it completely dialed in. A bunch of young athletes around him, ready to take his position. The human era champion in Max. How's he doing this season? They got reliability issues. Matter of fact, in Melbourne, I would debate to say that they're rivaling the pace of Red Bull, Mercedes is, and they didn't bring any changes. Lewis Hamilton, although, to me, on the back end of his career, competing at an elite level, but I would say this, why is it so much of a big deal when there are others that are in the same position? Are these other athletes also not great? Is Tom Brady not great? Is Serena not great? Is LeBron not great? Is Hamilton not great? This is not something that is going to be like, oh my God, I never thought it was going to happen. It was going to happen inevitably. There's one thing that happens when you're born in this world. There's one thing that's guaranteed to you when you're born in this world. And one day you will pass. But two, you will progressively decline in motor function, hand-eye coordination, and our physically ability to recover under certain circumstances. He's human. He's an elite human, but he is still human. So it's not a bad thing that he may be 3 years off from retiring. He might not be around till 2026 when everything kind of changes and maybe Porsche comes into play. But that is not an indictment on Lewis Hamilton's career. This season, with the challenges that Mercedes is facing, is not an indictment on Lewis Hamilton's career. His record, his reputation, his ability, his talent, his achievements, his records are unrivaled by anybody else currently right now or prior to him in the sport other than Michael Schumacher. Other than Schumacher, it's not happening. So I'm just saying, get off that bullshit is what I'm saying. It's going to happen, but it's just funny. He's probably competing just like LeBron, being older than majority of the field outside. I don't even think Vettel's older than Hamilton, honestly. Vettel might be. Alonso. Who else can we throw in there? So we could throw Vettel, Alonso, Magnussen maybe, but we'll check those agents and see. But Lewis Hamilton might be like, what, the oldest driver on the grid? He's still fucking shit up. So with that being said, I would just like to say, as other greats, so do greats. It's not an indictment on this man's career. As you see, I just listed off other great people that are in the same position that he's in, but also still performing at an elite level within their crafts. Chill out. That's all I got to say. It's just something I was thinking about during the race. I just put it together, thought about it. You all let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. And if there are other athletes in the same situation that I may not have mentioned, because I picked these because I'm more commonly informed on these, let me know. That's more conversation below in the chat. Hit the like, subscribe, and if you hit the dislike, just let me know why. All right, peace. Thanks for tuning in and watching another video here at Wolfpack Performance. Check out some of my other content on Formula One issues, our topics, and our DIY products on how to customize your vehicle. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. See you soon.